Magical Lamp, a short story written and narrated by Robert Fairhead from the Tall and True writer's website. Handcuffed in the police car. I wish the lamp hadn't been magical. That, sir, is a genuine antique, the stallholder had asserted when I'd stopped and inspected it at the second-hand market. The oil lamp looked like a prop from Disney's Aladdin, but though tarnished, I thought the embossed metal would polish up nice and shiny and earn me a tidy profit. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, the stallholder added, brought this lamp back with him from the Middle East after World War I. I turned the lamp upside down, searching for a modern welding seal. He served in the desert with Lawrence of Arabia, the stallholder continued, and the lamp was a gift from an Arabian prince Lawrence and my grandfather rescued from the Turks. I couldn't find a weld, so I opened the lid and ran a finger along the dark inside of the lamp, feeling for imperfections. My grandfather reckoned the lamp was magical, the stallholder expanded on his story. He said it saved his life in the desert when the Turks ambushed him and Lawrence, and on the way home when a German U-boat torpedoed his troop ship. I closed the lid and fixed the stallholder a wary look. It must be difficult to part with, I suggested, being a family heirloom. Oh, yes, sir, he agreed with a sad-faced shrug. But times being what they are, we all have to make a sacrifice. Like my grandfather during World War I. His story was plausible, but in my experience of antique and second-hand markets, most sellers use family connection spills like this to pluck a potential buyer's heartstrings. I might be interested in buying it, I said, replacing the lamp and fixing the stallholder with my negotiator's stare, depending on the price. A fox-like smile creased his face. I tell you what, sir, he replied, knowing my grandfather's lamp will go to a good home, I'll make you a special deal. The stallholder named a figure, and I countered it with a substantially lower offer. We haggled for a few minutes and settled on a sum midway between the two. You drive a hard bargain, sir, the stallholder congratulated me, wrapping the lamp in old newspaper and exchanging it for my cash with a handshake. But if I may give you some advice, he added with a wink, don't polish this, because you might release its magical powers. We both laughed at his joke. And parted. But of course I ignored the stallholder, and the lamp shone so brightly after a good rub with Brasso that I set it on my mantelpiece instead of reselling it. And while Aladdin's genie didn't appear from the lamp in a puff of smoke, as if by magic, my side hustle, buying and selling antiques and second-hand goods without questioning their provenance, suddenly boomed. But my good fortune proved short-lived and risky, and now busted and handcuffed by the police. I wish I'd never seen the so-called magical lamp. Hi, I'm Robert Fairhead from Tall and True Short Reads and the Tall and True Writers website. I wrote The Magical Lamp for the Australian Writers Centre's quarterly Furious Fiction writing competition in December 2022. The brief was, the 500-word short story had to begin with a 12-word sentence, include the sale of a second-hand item, and contain at least 5 different words ending in the letters I-C-E, ICE. The Furious Fiction brief arrives on the first Friday of the quarter at 5 p.m, and writers have 55 hours to write and submit their stories before the Sunday midnight deadline. I like to quarantine the weekend for devising, writing, and editing my short stories. However, on this quarterly weekend, I had a lunch date with a friend on Saturday and an all-day family event on Sunday, and the Socceroos played Argentina in a do-or-die World Cup game at 5 a.m. on Sunday. Consequently, I wrote my Furious Fiction entry even more furiously than usual, with even less time for reflection and proofreading. And the short story I shared on Tall and True is a reworked version of the original. For instance, the 12-word first sentence in December 2022 was, sitting handcuffed on my sofa, I wish I'd walked past the lamp. But I reworded it to introduce the magical element of the lamp and its consequences from the start of the story. Handcuffed in the police car, I wish the lamp hadn't been magical. There are other subtle differences between the stories, but I've respected the brief, and I hope you enjoyed this Furious Fiction-inspired short story. You can read The Magical Lamp and all my short stories, blog posts and other writing at tallandtrue.com. You can also buy my short story collections from the Amazon Kindle and Kobo online bookstores. Links are available in the show notes. The next episode of Tall and True Short Reads will be in your podcast feed shortly. In the meantime, please check your feed or the podcast website, tallandtrueshortreads.com, for earlier episodes from seasons 1, 2 and 3. And follow or subscribe to the podcast and rate and review it via your favourite app. Doing so helps me share my stories with other listeners. You can support this podcast financially by making a small one-off or regular donation via the Acast supporter page. You'll find a link in the show notes. Finally, please tell your family and friends about Tall and True Short Reads and the Tall and True Writers website.